Rock and Roll Canada. Welcome to Code Rock. Some training. I don't know, some website tutorials for you, and a little bit about Code Rock. It says right on our Facebook page. Code Rock. Code Rock is a Rock and Roll Canada project. It focuses on JavaScript, React, JS, and Gatsby JS. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get up and running quick with a with a blog, a quick blog. WordPress is pretty cool, but it has some issues with security. And nowadays, I think that's a little bit of a hindrance. But so we're going to look at some Code Rock. You're going to need some kind of a text editor. Download brackets. I think you might be better to use Visual Studio Code if you want to follow like right along with me. You can download it for Mac and you can download it for Windows. It's a Microsoft product. It's pretty cool. And we're going to use Gatsby. Gatsby is a JavaScript library. It is very well documented. Goes through the install process. You need access to your terminal in this course, that's for sure. So you would probably want to watch maybe a YouTube video or so on the terminal. And here's some basic commands. We're going to change directories right now, and we're just going to go to our desktop so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. And then we're going to make a directory. And we're going to call it Code Rock. Code Rock. We'll call it that. You can call it anything you want. And now there's our Code Rock guy right there. Pretty cool little file. So we to change directories. We're going to cd into Code Rock. Now that we've done it, so you can see in the bash terminal, you're in Code Rock, and you're on. This is the name of this particular Macintosh machine that I'm running. And so good, we're good to start in our terminal. So we'll bring that down for just a little bit. Going back into Gatsby. What we're going to do is the Gatsby blog. And Gatsby actually has a link on GitHub for their Gatsby Starter Blog. And we're going to go through this. There's different ways then you can get started with it, but I think probably the best way is to start with following the instructions in this Gatsby quick start guide. And here it is. Basically, we've got to Gatsby, copy this. Gatsby, new. Take this whole thing. Right click, copy. Back into our terminal. Edit. Paste. Enter. And it's like pretty cool. All kinds of stuff going on. This is the part where I should have some music playing. This is Rock and Roll Canada. Check us out on rockandrollcanada.ca, coderock.ca, glensmith.ca. That's me, Glen Smith, your host of Code Rock. We can do a little update on npm. npm install Gatsby, just to update. Paste that in there. Hit enter. And we're just going to cd into Okay, now if we close the terminal for a second, close all this, go into our CodeRock, we'll notice I've got my starter blog now. And all these files have now been created on our machine. Just as we sat and listened to some music, but we're going to find that everything's going to be in our source. React is built on components. Gatsby is based on React. So we have these different components that it's going to give us. These are JavaScript, a bio JavaScript, a layout, and a SEO, which would be a search engine optimization. JavaScript, it will have pages, which it looks like it's going to, the starter blog has only an index page and a 404 error page. Some templates and some utilities, the typography, GS, and Gatsby are kind of linked. So everything will happen pretty much in this source folder. And if we go back into our Visual Studio Code now, we open this with Visual Studio Code. We'll just drag CodeRock file right into Visual Studio Code, which is the visual. This is the editor that I'm going to use. And you can get that over at the Microsoft. So we've pretty much done the first step to create a Gatsby site. It's on a machine. We've got to now basically CD to that starter blog that we've just created, but you don't have to call it my starter blog. You can call it your rockin' website. Call it whatever you want. And the Gatsby command is Gatsby develop. You will always need to Gatsby develop. The other thing we didn't mention that's pretty important before we end off this first tutorial is you're going to need a node on your machine and npm on your machine, and maybe in the next video. We'll get started going through a bit of that, but if we take and copy and paste, I love copy and paste. Love Gatsby too, because I can listen to a lot of rock and roll while it does all the work for me. And I'm back into Visual Studio Code. I'm in my starter blog and all these files. If you go Control tilde, brings up your terminal, Visual Studio Code, which means I don't have to use this guy anymore if I don't want. I just used it to get us up and running for this tutorial. And you can just paste in what we copied and hit enter. I'm on a Macintosh computer. It's fairly fast. Not like a new one or anything. It's like a 215. But maybe your machine will be a little bit faster what you're working on, but it's a great thing about rock and roll. So crank those tunes. Let terminal do all the work. Don't even be afraid of it, because it's just a beautiful thing. It helps you. It just does stuff for you. Just got to copy and paste some commands and know where to find those commands. You don't have to memorize anything. Just make sure you... And it's telling us that we're ready to take a look. We've created almost pretty much a website, really, by this post. And if we go to our local host, your local host on your computer, anywhere you want, like whatever, I use Chrome, but you go to a local host, 8000. And basically, we're on our local machine. But if you publish this right now, here's your starter blog. And then all this is customizable. Kyle Matthews, he's the big guy at, he built Gatsby, pretty smart cookie. And he's got 3 blogs here. If you go to the blogs, boom, 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 there's a blog all about you, all about your company, all about your mouse. There you go. Some links. Very helpful. So we can go back to my other post, and we can go to my Hello World post, and we go to my second post, and we can go to Gatsby. And I hope you liked this first tutorial from CodeRock, Rock and Roll Canada. It's an old Polymer project here. use brackets.io. Brackets actually is half of Dreamweaver. It's the hard part of Dreamweaver actually. It's the text editor for Dreamweaver, which is a premium IDE that you have to spend like a lot of money to use. But go to brackets.io and you can download 1.4. And don't forget to bookmark Gatsby because Gatsby's gonna. Well, we'll do a website with the other starter. There's another starter that Gatsby has, and actually there's a whole starter library that you can take a look at until the next video and see if there's something that you want to get started with. And these will just basically the most popular one, this Gatsby with Netlify. If you have a look at that and visit their demo, that's where you're going to start. Like there's your web page up and running. Boom. I mean, WordPress can't compete really unless you use headless and you like WordPress a lot. But the pages are all going to load like Gatsby is fast, man. It's fast. It's super fast. It's static. Nobody's going to hack it. So Rock and Roll Canada, Code Rock. Thanks for listening. I'm Glen Smith, your host. glensmith.ca, glensmith.app.